Okay, hello everyone. In this video, we're gonna do another architecture illustration for sketchbook number 15. I was really bored of the other one, the other color, this salmon pink background. So today, I thought we'll do something else, and then we're gonna do a different approach for this one. So let's start. I mean, it's a bit challenging because the color is dark, and I usually say start with the lightest shade for an easier sketch maybe, but we'll try doing a dark one today and see how it goes. So as usual, we're just going to start with the main structure. So I'm just doing something a bit intuitive at the same time, thinking of a few structures here and there, like a concept. And it's really good because they fade away, these lines, and then you can just have it like as a base there. And you can start. So I'm just gonna remember your lines in architecture should be overlapping, and there's always an extended line. So keep that in mind when you're sketching. Try to think in 3D. Try to think of structures that maybe will inspire a design. So I'm just going to do this. So I can just overlap shapes. Try to think of like a lot of forms going interlocking with each other, going back and forth. Now I know some of my sketches are not traditional because I don't, sketch or illustrate structures that already exist. I usually like to come up with my own ideas and start mixing and matching with, forms and trying to come up with something new. And I think that's just the way I think and the way I've been working for a while. So I really don't I do occasionally sketch buildings that exist, but when it comes to my architecture illustrations that I do it personally, they're usually my own imagination from my own head, trying to come up with a new design idea or spark an inspiration for. So like I said, it's very intuitive. I like doing intuitive sketching and just enjoying the process of coming up with ideas. And even if it doesn't, I don't end up eventually doing it in 3D, the idea is still there. And then maybe one day when I need an idea, I'll just go through my sketchbook and be that was a great idea. Maybe you can, try to make that, in 3D and start to actually implement the concept in real life. So we're just gonna sketch until we feel like it's enough with construction lines. And it's really not a big deal because these are all faint lines and they won't appear that much once you actually start adding more layers into it. So do this, maybe something here, maybe. So it's almost like doodling, when you're in high school and you have you're in a class and your hand is always sketching something. This is one of those type of art, I guess. But it's more of a, something that's a mind exercise for a design. Now, right, since I did that, when you're sketching in architecture, when I said at some point that you have to make sure that your lines look confident, don't draw a line that looks like this. This is not how to sketch in architecture. You really have to do one stroke, one. I sometimes do a bit of cutting, but I know for a fact that you should just, make sure that your lines are straight in one stroke and make sure they're confident. Don't cut your lines. They're just This is not this is not how to do it in architecture. It's kind of wrong, so be careful when you're drawing the lines. So what are we gonna do next? Let me see. I'm gonna start doing some shapes. And since the pen is really light because of the background, I'm just gonna, just do some indications of where I want the shape to be. So here, maybe here. It's really nice how the color just fades, so you're not so what I'm using is pale blue light color, so try to find something similar in your color box, and it will fade, so it's really nice. It's not too harsh, and since our background is really a bit darker than usual, we're gonna go a bit slow with it. So next thing we're gonna do is I want to try something else. Honestly, we're gonna try to incorporate some acrylic colors. So I have this really cheap acrylic colors, and I'm gonna just decide from now which colors I'm gonna use. So I want blue, I might need black, I don't know, but I put it aside. Pink is nice, orange, and white. So I'm gonna use these and we'll see how it goes. So I will start with, actually no, I'll start with blue. So because I'm very careful from the beginning, I just wanna, make sure that I don't mess it up early. So let's see how the blue interacts. Okay, this is not bad, you can just go with it. And the good thing is when they dry, you can still put other layers on top of it. So I'm just gonna try to fill up whatever forms you want. Maybe something here. Maybe something here. Okay, that should be enough. I wanna try with the pink. Okay, so let's do something. Okay, that works. I'm good to go. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to, do some lines. And usually, a lot of artists, they avoid colored backgrounds. And, because I think we're used to doing everything in white. And even if you notice, the oil painters, they usually stain their canvases and because it's either burnt umber or something, and then it makes sense that they already have some midtones, and it's easier to work with it. But when it comes to architectural illustrations, usually it's white, and I feel after a while I realized that it's more fun to have a colored background because I don't know, it just looks better, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna do some violet now. So we're just gonna start adding tiny details. Maybe here. So this is a hybrid between sketching and illustration, and it's really it's fun and freeing because you're not too stressed out about having it perfect. So you're it's in the in between sketching something that is very abstract and illustrating something that's so real. So this is the type of illustrations I like to do. So we're just gonna start adding more layers. So you really have to be careful with the colors you choose, because when I draw pink, it's not pink or whatever this is more on fuchsia, whatever, it's pink. And you have to understand it's gonna be like, there's already one color ready and you're just adding another color, so you have to, you know, be aware that it's not gonna look pink, it's gonna look like whatever blue and pink together looks like. So that's something to keep in mind. Do here, maybe something here, make the lines a bit more detailed. A lot of my pens seem to be dry, but it's okay. I mean, I work with it, it's not a big deal. As long as there's still ink flowing, I usually work with it, and then at some point I have to just revive it with alcohol, but we can still work with what we have. And I feel like it really helps a lot with how, you know, half illustration, half sketch is what it works. Okay, now do a bit better. And then I'm just gonna add some details here. So colored pencils, they're really nice because they give like a very subtle touch to your illustrations, and it's not too, you know, like too strong, and gives like a chalky look to it. And also it's really nice that when you add marker pen on top of it, it's like, it gives a nice look. So it does, you can put a marker pen on top of it, so you're good to go. I've seen a lot of illustrations from the 80s, I think, of architecture, where they use both, you know, a marker pen and the colored pencil, and it does give like this very old, rustic look to it, which I think is really nice. So there are some techniques where you just, you know, use both colored pencils and marker pens. So let's see this. I have to admit, I do have my own style. I know a lot of people are not into the style, but this is what I like to do. So you can also, you know, overlay, like vice versa. You can do colored pencils on top of marker pens, and also marker pens on top of colored pencils, and the change is subtle, but it's there, which I really like. So don't be afraid to like combine your tools if you have many of them. Try to see, like, experiment what looks good or how it looks like when you combine them together. You get some very interesting results. So I'm gonna get another pink, and I just want this whole thing to be pink. Okay, maybe not the whole thing. Okay, and then this one. Just put a bit of orange on top of my acrylic colors, and they also work, so that's really nice. You just have to, you know, try to change between how much the pressure that you put on your pen, because really it affects, like, this is me just doing it really, you know, soft, and if I push harder I get more color, so that's something to consider. That's really nice. So sometimes when you're experimenting, you just have to think of a way where, like, oh crap, that looks really bad, how can I fix it? So it's okay to think that you made a mistake, but always know that you can always fix the mistake, it's not a big deal. So it's okay to experiment and then realize it didn't work, because you can totally just, you know, fix it somehow. Okay, so another yellow needs to be here, which I forgot to add a line. Okay. make it subtle. I'm really excited about Sketchbook 15, to be honest. I feel like, I've been putting it off for a while because I had such a huge problem with Sketchbook 14. I'm working on, the publication now, but I don't know, for some reason it's really hard to, produce. And because of that, I felt, discouraged, and I was like, why am I even bothering, blah, blah, blah. But I figured out a way where I can just, fix everything when it comes to the problem that I had with the book itself. So, problem solved. I'm okay now, so that's why I'm like really excited and jumping into Sketchbook 15. What we're gonna do now is the ruler, which is my favorite part sometimes. I'm gonna go with blue. So I'm really careful with my choices. Like, if I'm not sure what color I want, I usually just try to, use the same color that I have as a mid-tone, and that would be, in this case, the blue. So let's just start doing our lines. Try to follow your sketch lines if you're really not sure where you want to put these, marks. Okay, that should be enough. I want to go with black. Yeah, let's do black now. Or maybe it's too harsh too soon. Let's try dark blue first. I'm very careful as well. Okay, let's go. So like I said, I'm very intuitive, and I think, after I put the first mark, I'm like, maybe it's nice if I do something here, or like, oh, this could be like a nice structure. So I really don't have a clear thing in my mind when I'm sketching at the beginning, and it's like usually the ideas, they come up the more I am, doing more work into the illustration itself. So that's something to think of. I really want blue, to be honest with you. Okay, so a really dark shade of blue. I'm just gonna darken this shade here. A little more of these mark making, but using colored pencils. Okay. Let's do, I want to try the Sharpie, but like super dark. So actually there's a shape here that I completely forgot about. I know it's a bit dry. Okay. It's good. We can work with it. It's fine. Okay. bit here. Perfect. Okay, so I see like it looks good, so I'm just gonna try to add more of it throughout the sketch to emphasize a few of my lines. So this guy here. Great, the lines don't need. Great job. We're just gonna try to fix that a bit. There we go. And then here. Okay. Put here. Okay. So. Okay, so I decided to use some black colored pencil, and we're just gonna do, you know, some shading and see how it's gonna look. So I'm doing this. I still feel like I'm a little bit careful with my colors. I want to try to experiment more. So after I'm done with this black, I'm going to try to do more acrylic pens to see if I can do something interesting. Okay, so let's get our acrylic pens. I'm gonna go with white first. Or maybe it's too harsh. Let's see what colors do I have. I have this really nice shade of orange, so let's try to do. Like this. Okay. I decided to add some trees here, so let's go. I'm gonna do a few landscape elements. Okay, so just try to add some here. Try to balance, like if you do 3 here, make 2. Like keep it asymmetrical if you're trying to add elements of the same type, I think. Anyway, so like if it's 3 here, 2, and vice versa. If it's 4, try to make it 5. You know, try to like have some asymmetry with your elements to keep it dynamic and interesting. So now I'm just gonna add some red here and there. Okay, so I really think this should be darker, so I'm gonna go with maybe violet. I also feel like it's still, you know, not really like I should do more of the background on this side. The interesting part is that with colored pencils, you can also layer them, and every time you layer 2 colored pencils together, the colors are different. And you know, some people, they do an entire sheet where they're like, you know, they do a violet and then blue and then violet and then they write like like a note that violet, blue, violet. So like it's an entire complete, art form where you're very specific with it sometimes, because colored pencils can really surprise you, because a lot of people just don't use they don't think much about colored pencils. They think it's like not that good, but honestly I feel like it's a very underrated medium, and you can do a lot of amazing things with colored pencils. So that's something to think about. Okay, so now just add some marks here and there, which I feel like they give an extra touch. And I'm gonna work more on these trees, so we're gonna go with, I think, orange would be nice, and a bit of yellow. So let's try yellow. So like I said, working on a darker, like toned paper, it's a bit tricky, so it might be a bit hard in the beginning to be like, have enough bravery to actually start something with it. But it works, it works. Let me see what else I can do. I think we can start now with the white highlights and see if it's enough. Okay, I realize it's not enough, so we're gonna have to do more. We're gonna have to do more work. Okay, let's continue. I want to emphasize the trees more. Okay. And I feel like there's something missing, but I just can't figure out what it is. So we're just gonna try to add more, elements to it. So I'm just gonna go with my acrylic pen and see if I can, come up with something, figure out what do I feel like is missing. So I really like how the orange is looking now, to be honest, with the highlight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my acrylic pens again and see if I can do something with it. Somehow don't like the yellow here, so I'm just gonna try to lessen the color impact here. Okay, what else can we do? Maybe more colored pencils. I'm just gonna start darkening. Okay, this pencil is not working. Next. So I usually aim for like 200 illustrations on average for each architecture illustration book. So I don't know if I'm gonna, do all 400 and document them for the channel, but I'll give it my best shot. So here I have a nice acrylic pen, but it's the neon color kind of green. And I like that this pen, I'm gonna show you, it's a very interesting pen. So I'm just gonna do some highlights. When I do this, the ink, just splatters everywhere, and some people would, panic from this, but for me, I feel like it's a nice touch. I'm just gonna push harder as much as I can and try to, make it more dynamic. So although it's neon, I feel like it's more into like yellowish kind of color. So that's really nice. And I'll just do some more, organized mark making with this. So don't be afraid to experiment with the tool. They're really fun, honestly. And like I said, this is a mix between, concept sketch and illustration. So it's a nice middle ground to enjoy designing or, doing any architectural illustrations. Okay. So this was nice. This gave the extra touch I think I was looking for. And now I just want to emphasize the yellow we have here. So I'm just gonna try to avoid all this acrylic ink and not try to smudge that much. I'm just gonna go over this yellow. I feel like this yellow is not that, there's not enough pigment, so I'm just gonna go with another type of yellow that I have. So yellow and blue, obviously, on top of each other goes a bit green. So that's why I feel like maybe this acrylic pen, it worked because it's like greenish neon yellow kind of thing. Okay, so that's good. Okay, I think we're done. I feel like we're done. Let's see. I could use more elements here, so I'm just gonna add another touch. But we're gonna go pink, honestly. So let's get another pink shade and just try to draw some elements. And for this one, we're gonna do an acrylic pen. Where's my pen? And just, subtle marks. Just try to drag the colors a bit. Okay. And then maybe more darker shade. I want to try my pastel colors here, so let's see if it's gonna work. Give like a softer touch. Okay, also here. Okay, so we're gonna wait for this to dry because I still have to put my what's this, words on it, so I'm just gonna cut it for now. Okay, so now that I'm sure that the acrylic pens are dry, so I'm not really worried about my print title, wrote that, I don't know, thing. Anyway, so I wrote flexibility, that would be my word for this illustration. So I'm just gonna, start adding it to the artwork. Okay. And maybe one last one. Okay, so this is it for the architecture illustration demonstration today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We really tried new things now, to be honest. It was more of the using acrylic pens, using colored pencils, using marker pens. So I think the tricky part here was using the a bit darker toned paper, but the result turned out great, so we're good to go. So anyway, this was it for today's demonstration, and I guess I'll see you in the next video.